Alright, two ways of sketching that I do. Here's the one I just finished, took about 10 minutes, whatever, just feeling it out. So, what I think about first when I'm sketching is the angle in which I'm looking at it uh, to determine the background. So, I do the characters first, and the way I have them is the angle is going to be slightly downwards this way, pointing this way, and going this way, and then filling in the background accordingly to get the feel. But as you can see from the lines, I just play with different lengths as I do it. If I want this character to be stronger looking, then I'll start rounding out certain areas maybe to produce the effect of the strength. Or if it's like a feminine character such as this, I might take some of those lines out because it's feminine and just make it curvy and softer and take out all the extra weight, so to speak. And I'll just play with the lines like such. I'll play with the floor, whether I want it to be hardwood. So just to see how it looks, I get everything down. So if it's a hardwood floor, you got the board pieces that go right alongside, and sometimes they're separated, but I still want to keep that dimension of space flowing off this way because of the way they're looking. And even the way this is happening, the of him looking downwards, you know what I'm saying? And to make sure that everything has the proper placing, like this foot to this foot going this way. And then with the characters themselves, I always make sure there's the eye contact. Even if looking on this side, she still has eye contact up here. So this is a ray, so to speak. Now, the second way I sketch is by using just the colors alone. And this goes good for something like maybe, let's see here, piece of paper. This is a good example. A fight scene or anything with action. We'll just say we'll start with this, right? So if this is something I'm going to color, but I want a certain energy about it, an explosive energy, because that's the nature of this, picture, or whatever. I'll let the color speak. So I realized that going the way that he's going, coming up towards the camera, there's a lot of speed build up to where the back isn't going to be seen so much because of the speed, the movement. It's like watching a picture. So I'll let these colors just flow in the direction regardless, and I'll figure out where I want certain things as I go. Like this will be the sleeve, and when the wind is blowing, it ripples, you know what I'm saying? Even for the head, I know that underneath here is where the action is going to be seen because this part is coming first. Everything afterward is going to be like a blur. And I use this kind of a method first. Then I'll go back in and fill it in accordingly to get the same feel that I have here. But here I don't have to use as many of the lines with the pencil because I let the colors do the talking in these areas. See, this becomes the sleeve now. I don't have to worry about anything down here because it's moving. You know what I'm saying? Until I get down about right here. Here, let me get that on there, right? Because I'm not showing everything. So everything towards the back or anything that's going to be underneath, I don't really have to even worry about. I just have to worry about getting the action of the beginning stage. You know what I'm saying? And just flow accordingly. So I get the same picture, but I get a different effect because now I have the color on top that shows me where everything is moving. You know what I mean? If I wanted to just scribble real quick. So if I had a car going into the distance that way, I know that I'm looking at something like this as far as the speed, depending on what kind of vehicle or person or whatever it is moving. So I have all this movement. I might do an outline on the top and just bring everything down from that. And with different colors, when you start to add different colors of the same shade, you could even go with the gray. I like using the gray tones because it helps me see where the shadowing is going to be in the picture before I even ink it. So, okay, that's a little light. Let's go a little bit heavier. And I'll just pull down the same direction on top of that color, and I'll build as I come out. So if this is thrust, you know what I'm saying? I know there's going to be like debris coming towards the picture. So these dots become bigger as they come downwards, which is considered closer to your point of view. So this and this are actually the same size, but you put this here closer to the screen to show like a starting point or where it's coming from. And this allows me to now start going in here, adding a little detail to the starting point of all this action, because it's going that way. It's actually going into the paper, like if we were talking about direction. So this could be like a doorway right here, you know what I'm saying? So it's going in that way. So this way I know I'm drawing the back of something, maybe a ship. So let's say this was like Star Wars, because I like that genre. Now I can make an X-wing, and everything will be pointing towards that direction. The guns, the engines, you know what I'm saying? How everything is, and it'll come back this way. And now I have different directions, same as this, extending out. So the background can also be your guide as far as your lines, because now we actually have a cube here that's showing coming out. So everything will be closer or shorter up here, whereas back here the distance is shown by the separation of these lines right here. You know, this could be like Death Star trench. So now after that's done, I can start figuring out, okay, well, there's a little, indentation here. There might be a cannon right here with the guns pointing the same direction as if it had just passed over. So I'm drawing the circles of the gun just like the circles of the engine, just down farther. So now I have this gun tower that sits under here, and I can play with it as if it's still firing. Still the same concept. I'm drawing downwards so you can see this coming out as a laser. And then what I do at the end is I'll take the eraser and get rid of the non-important parts. You wouldn't see the circle of the cannon as it's firing. You would see light popping out of that cannon. You might see a slight outline, but very distorted as far as the point of origin. Now I have a cannon that's firing in the direction that the ship is coming from, as if to say there's more behind them. So you have things that imply the rest of the story that you don't see, while showing what the basic environment looks like. You know what I'm saying? So you can put in your little R2D2 up here. You can put your same concept. You can put cannons up here now that I have the same I have the motion and all that, right? You know what I'm talking about. Trying to be technical with this. But then it gets funky because now you can take these same cannons and you can point them in different directions while keeping the same stature, so to speak. So instead of pointing this way, it's pointing this way, but it'll still follow one of these lines that you already have drawn, because you want that what's it called, foreshortening, where it's like where you see a hand pointed at you. So this part of my hand, the wrist, is in the back, so you won't see it as big as it usually is if I go flat. So it'll shrink while the fingers will enlarge. You know what I'm saying? That's that foreshortening you want. And you want that same thing with these cannons right here. We'd be like pointing two fingers this way. You know what I'm saying? So this right here, the direction of it, I'm pointing this way. So now you see how these two circles add into that. You know what I'm saying? As far as the direction. So even just using your own anatomy can help you with the wings and stuff like that, or whatever it is you're drawing. But like I said, with the color, I can get all this done in about 5 minutes, just taking the different grays, starting light, then going darker as I go, and then starting to fill it in with the detail at the end. So I don't have to do as much with the pencil and the pen. I can let the color speak. All right.